Is audio working now? There we go. Is quality okay on audio? Great. Um, so all I was saying was this is going to be it's a social media scheduling tool that we're going to build on. We're going to use Airtable as like a backend database. We'll upload all of the content there. I'm personally going to use it to promote content on Twitter and Reddit because this is for OnlyFans promotion, and they're just the two like major platforms that work really well for adult content, mostly because they're not restrictive towards adult content. But you could very easily plug in any other, I don't know, LinkedIn post automation, for example. You could post both on your personal profile and on a company page. You could post in Facebook pages. Even I think Instagram, if you connect a business account, you can also actually automate posts through Airtable. So for anyone who's spending a monthly fee on, I don't know, Hootsuite, Buffer, whatever the tool may be, like maybe this is like a more interesting solution, as it's going to be a lot more flexible. And the way that what we're going to do is there'll be like a content pipeline here where you can write out your description and so on, and I'm then going to like categorize each of the pieces of content and attach various different subreddits where I want to promote the posts, and I will also make like a centralized hashtags database. So rather than needing to like add in different hashtags every time, we'll just store them, and it will be a relational database. Just with one click, you can pull in the hashtags, and they will automatically be added to the post. So yeah, I guess I talk you through my workflow as I'm building this. I've got my eye on the chat over there, so feel free to ask any questions as well, whether it's related to this or anything else. Some of the questions we've had so far, I'll just go through quickly. Andrew, hey, yeah, it's been a long time since I last streamed, and also the reason that I wasn't making any videos was just because of like the old laptop that I had. It was like the MacBook Pro, like i7 processor from like 2019, but it's just really quite slow, like especially whenever you try and do streaming, it would just overheat. And even when I was just recording videos, so it just made it like it was hard to have like a productive workflow whilst doing any type of recording or live streaming. But now I've upgraded to the M1 Max with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and it's very good. So it opens up the options for streaming and recording. So I'm just going to make the initial link to hashtags. We want to be able to link to multiple records, and we'll just link to the name field for now. And we'll just establish the initial relationship with categories as well. Yeah. I do know Bannerbear. They have an API, as I remember, so you can actually just automate content generation. I seem to remember that they actually did a lifetime deal a few years ago on a platform that I know. I'm familiar with them, but I haven't used them that much. And like creatives for what? For promoting these girls, or for YouTube, or for like what are you using it for? Social media content. Like I was actually thinking of using it in a instead of using like lem list you could use it for personalization at scale. You can generate like quite a lot of custom images and then attach them into an email. So each individual person would get their own unique email with like a custom image attached to it. Was one way I was thinking of using it. Completely lost where my database is. Pipeline. Yes, there we go. Template account. That's why. Okay, so we can start off with content. Let's create a view now called ready to post. Which growth board? Sorry. Twitter, create a tweet. Reddit we want as well. Submit a post. Like I'm personally not going to use these, but I'll just add them in just just for the purpose of the demonstration. Okay, so we have to do a GET request to download the actual image from Airtable to post it as a tweet. I'm interested to know as well if anyone has played around with Pipe Dream. Like I was, it's sort of like a cheaper but more technical alternative to Integromat, and I was playing around with it a bit the other day. Just interested to hear anyone's experiences on it if they've used it at all. Yeah, we can get a file. It's quite good. You can set the location of an image. That's quite interesting, and they even have it built into their API if it's not safe for work content, which works out very well for us. That's linked to my Twitter account currently. I actually need to make a new one, but that integration is done already, so we already have it linked into Twitter. Maybe another service I'm thinking of then that had a lifetime deal. It could have been Hyper something. They're another like image personalization service. Um, yeah, yeah, maybe I am getting, yeah, high price. That was it. Sorry. Um, Let me make a list of subreddits. And generally, all of my posts will be image posts, so that's what I'm going to set them up as because we're promoting girls. And we're also going to have to make something with image. In fact, let me have a go at that now. So I was thinking to use Apple shortcuts to grab information from Airtable and upload it as an image link because that's what Reddit asked for. Upload images. We can do content URLs. We're going to have to actually make a second scenario for this. Banner Bear, I'll look into as well. I've definitely, yeah, it is an API. Yeah, yeah, I do remember this. Interesting. Funnily enough, yeah, it's something that I could use this for is I was thinking of starting up like an Instagram again because it would just make it makes life much easier rather than thinking to make out a YouTube to generate a YouTube video. For example, just promoting like stories on Instagram is much easier. And yeah, and then you could actually just compile, you could build an automation to compile your Instagram stories together at the end of the day, and that would make and then turn that into like YouTube content. So that would be another quite interesting idea that I was thinking to implement. So just recording like 15-second stories and like snippets of various things that I'm working on and building like throughout the day, and it would just make it much more like seamless for me to record content. And the only thing I was thinking is actually to post like images and so on. I don't really want to take the time to do it, so this could be quite interesting as a way to produce image content. Yeah, interesting. I'll look into it a bit more later. Anyway, let's do webhook. This part you will only need to do if you're going to be posting on Reddit, by the way. Otherwise, you can just ignore this. This is quite an annoying thing that that Reddit implemented to stop spam. So exactly, yeah, that's probably what I would do as well. And I mean, to be honest, you could definitely turn it into like a content creation service for Instagram, right? Where there's a lot of businesses who will definitely pay, and like you don't have to tell them it's generated via an API as far as they're concerned. You've hired a designer who's generating the content. It would be an interesting way to charge like $500 per month for content and just automate all the content generation. just return one for now. Webhook reply. I've never actually done this. Let's see if this works. Upload needs to be a file. Hmm. Let's run that and see what happens. Hmm. Nothing. Response that did come through. Get content of URL. Variable name. I think it might actually be easier to just build this on my phone quickly. This shortcuts isn't quite there yet on uh, what's going to be the best way to hmm. Anyone's made something grabbing a file from a URL or using Apple shortcuts, I'd be quite interested if you could share a link to it. Also very interesting though that shortcuts will update in real time anything that I'm doing on the on my phone. That save file, maybe that's a good. one way to do it would be through Dropbox, but I guess we can do it through Dropbox. Why not? Oh, then let's give that a try. Uh, in what? Why? Where were you posting in Facebook? Onto groups, or what was the purpose of using Puppeteer for it? Get contents of URL. From rich text. Wow. It's a bit annoying that they don't show us the select magic there. Imager, you have to use it to promote. If you want to basically put a lot of content um, on Reddit, if you want to promote content on Reddit and promote through an API, you have to use like approved URLs. Sorry, approved like website hosting, image hosting websites, and Imager is like probably the best one. Like previously, I had someone who would just upload this manually, but I thought I'd actually try and figure this out now, but it's turning out to be quite annoying. Essentially, like the content is hosted in Airtable, and it just needs to be pulled. I need to actually get the file and then re-upload to Imager, which shouldn't be that hard. I might try it a different way, and we'll see how big of a we'll see how much data we can actually send through shortcuts. If I get the file through Integromat and forward the file directly, but the other way is through Dropbox, but I prefer not to use it. Let's give this a try. It's a huge file, actually. Sorry, I'm using Unsplash, aren't I? It's a huge file. Let's go with let's do a small one. Ah, I think that was the problem. Yeah, okay. We've now successfully, that's quite interesting for anyone seeing this. We've now successfully been able to transfer the file from Airtable to Shortcut, so it's now available locally, which is actually quite interesting. It opens up a lot of doors of what you can do. But it would also mean we could make it accessible on our phone. And I know Integromat does have a photos syncing option, but it's not very flexible in my opinion. Um, if there's an imager shortcut, actually, I'll be quite annoyed. But sorry, an imager Integromat plugin, but I'm pretty sure there isn't. Yeah, that's not. And you can check like some of the reports of people trying to get set up with the Imager API. It is really quite painful. I spent about a day working on that. Okay, this is all looking quite interesting. Upload anonymously, yes. We need to listen here. Can we get this? That's worked. That has worked. That's brilliant. Um, you've got no idea how much I was struggling to build. Like I just ended up hiring someone and their full-time job was to upload pictures of naked girls onto Imager. So it's good to have this set up and working. And then what I will do is I'll post this data back to Integromat. So we can actually delete that. Okay, and then we can just make final webhooks. This is a little bit annoying to have multiple different scenarios communicating with each other, but it's what we need to do. I could have also actually directly used the API using HTTP requests, but the only reason I didn't do that is because I would have to keep hiding the window whilst I'm live streaming just to not expose my API keys. So, but this still works just the same. Let's just delete everything that was in here. There we go. So we've successfully uploaded to Imager, and it's a very small image though. So I'm actually going to change that to do the medium size image. I don't want to do the large one because the file size was huge. Ah, sorry. Audio is very quiet. All right, so I'm just changing it to do the large file size instead of the small one that we were doing before. So if we run that, and we'll run the second scenario as well. All right, great. That has successfully come through. So the only other things that we've yeah, that's okay, great. So we're just going to update a record to sync the image URL back over to the record, and I've just realized, so we're also going to need to sync something else over. We're going to want to send over like the record ID. And let's just see how, if that comes through, in what format that comes through in, sorry. Listen for new, and let's run that again, and let's just, I just want to see if the headers do come through here. Are they accessible to us? It doesn't look like they are. Hmm. Custom headers, it didn't get passed through. We need a way to detect which record that we actually need to update again. Annoying. This is a bit of a messy way to do it actually, but it will work. Get headers of URL. Should work. Okay, yeah, this is a slightly funny way to do it, but just due to the limits on Integromat, this is the only way I can think of. So we will just add in at the end here, and URL, sorry, ID equals to insert variable headers of URL. Let's see what we get with this. Hmm. Hmm. We have to do it in another way. The black browser is Apple Shortcuts, which is installed on every iPhone and MacBook. So you can run shortcuts like automations locally um, from your device. All right, now let's get record ID, run that. Sorry that this has been. I've never built anything like this before, and we're trying to. I don't know, trying to do something that isn't meant to be done. So we're hacking together like a weird solution. I need it in order for my automation to function. So I really have to um, just get it done. But it's always interesting to figure out new problems. Okay, I think this should work. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if Windows actually has like a built-in alternative, but Apple Shortcuts, Yeah, that has gone through. That's worked. Apple shortcuts I use for like everything on a day-to-day basis. Just in terms of like life automation, it is really quite good. Um, and before I wasn't particularly a big fan of like smart devices, but like from like the Apple Watch, I can send API requests just at like the click of a button. You also have like specific automations based on geo fencing. So if I enter like when I come home, I can trigger certain automations to happen. When I arrive at the gym, I can trigger a workout to start on the Apple Watch. I can turn on like a workout playlist. And when the workout is done, I can actually sync over how many calories I burnt over to my like Notion life tracker. So it's really quite good. Um, and there's also something else like you can get other like smart devices for like health general life tracking. I think they're really quite good. There's also a sensor on this door, which tells me how long I've spent in the office each day, how long I've been working each day. It automatically turns on the lights when I walk in. It's just like interesting automations that you can trigger. And the thing that Apple Shortcuts allows you to do is to pull this information out of your iPhone and sync over wherever you want automatically, which is what I like a lot about it. So another example would be like I track how many steps I've taken per day, and that will automatically get synced over into my Notion daily tracking system every day. And then perhaps every like quarter or every year, I just want to go through and analyze my like daily activity just to see what I was doing. I could then export it as like a CSV and build some graphs out of it. It's like it's your data, so you can obviously do whatever you want with it. Um, Another thing that I was looking at buying is like the Aura ring, Oura ring. I don't know if anyone has one, but they give some really interesting sleep data and metrics, and like they compile like various different things. Like even I think it was based on body temperature through the night, and they work out like how ready you are for the day. So I was looking at buying one of those and then syncing that over to Notion and seeing how well that correlated with how many tasks I would complete in a day. Like how well does my general well-being affect how productive I am. Anyway, yeah, just yeah, yeah, and just going on being like off the grid. A few years ago, I actually built my own camper van. I converted a Ford Transit delivery van. I did like a self conversion. I've got some pictures of it somewhere actually. Put a solar panel on the roof, did all of the electrics, custom mattress inside. I built the bed. It had running water. Had a gas cooker. It was quite good actually. It was a really fun project. And back then, I was really focused on, as you're saying, like being like off the grid. And I spent months traveling around Europe, and it was great, great fun. But now I don't know. It's not so much of a it's not so much of a priority for me anymore. I much prefer like with the type of technologies that are coming out now. If you give up like an element of privacy for the advantages that become available for using them, I'm okay with that sacrifice. Let's say. Um, with knowing that like some devices are most likely listening to me. And like if you ever were to have any like really private conversation or things that you don't want to be heard, of course you can just go somewhere where your devices aren't listening to you. It's not like someone is actually directly eavesdropping on you. They're just analyzing this data at a huge scale to perform better advertising. Anyway, image URL. That is done. I'm very happy that automation's done. I've wanted to build that out for so long. Um, 8 Sleep Smart Mattress. Let's have a look. It's about so the only problem for me is that I'm based in Georgia, and anything like this that I have to ship into Georgia, I have to pay 20% tax on top of plus shipping. Not Georgia in the US, right? Georgia in the country in Eastern Europe. It looks interesting though. I think this would end up costing me about $5,000 to have a mattress. But with that being said, I I completely agree with investing in yourself, not just in like learning and knowledge and tools and so on, but in anything that you're going to use every day that's going to provide you a better quality of life. You shouldn't be tight on like you should invest, you should spend money on it. So perhaps this is one of those things I should bite the bullet. I'll look into it a little bit more. Like just on the topic of the Aura Ring, actually, this is completely off from the automation that I'm building, but I haven't reviewed this 8 Sleep API, but the product itself looks interesting. Nice website as well, actually. Um, in fact, I might even buy some of their pillows. These, though, this brand Thorn, I do know for their supplements, and um, I use quite a few of their supplements already. Actually, these pillows, so I might buy, and I'll see if I can notice a difference. Just like on the Aura Ring, though, there, if you look at their API, readiness, this is what I was talking about. So this is all the data that you actually get back from them, which I think is really quite interesting. The only annoying thing about it is that you have to pay $6 a month to access your own data, but then again, look, it's not a huge cost. It will tell you when you went to bed, when you got up, the score, disturbances, deep sleep, REM sleep, is light. Is that the amount of light in the room? I think that's super interesting. I guess that's a seconds measurement of your deep sleep, how efficient it was, your heart rate, average and the lowest. And then they have another endpoint, readiness, where it gives you a score of, in this example, 62 for how ready you are for the day. And this is based off previous night's sleep, activity, resting heart rate, and your temperature. I think there's such an interesting metric, right? Like, over, you can sort of tell how you're feeling yourself, but just to optimize your life to always try and be in like a high range. Yeah, just some interesting things I thought I'd share, but of course, off topic. Let's just finish off this automation like really quickly. That was like the hardest part by far. And so what I would suggest doing here is no one's got CSV. I don't have a personal Discord. I was thinking of setting up a I don't know, just like a little Slack community, perhaps. But then again, there's just something else like to manage, and yeah, I just don't know. It's something that I've thought about, but yeah, but no, I don't run a Discord. The one thing I was thinking of doing is actually doing like frequent live streams, and I noticed some people were doing a I think they were calling it like work with me, which is they're just like streaming throughout the day, like they have some music on in the background, streaming whatever they're working on, and it was sort of for people who are also working from home, just to give like I don't know a sense of company. I guess that there's like other people working with you. So I'd be quite happy to do like a constant streaming. I do agree. There's always like interesting topics of conversation coming up in like the YouTube chat, and generally like my channel. The one thing I will say, as much as like it's not got a huge number of subscribers, the subscribers are really high quality. Like the sort of community that's built up is really high quality because I generally make videos in such a small specific niche. The people who are like coming and understand the type of things that I'm building, it's generally like a very high quality, quite smart person, which just means that we generally have quite interesting conversations. Not that I live stream that often, but at least that's what I found when I do. Another little shortcut for you, by the way, is you can use this will grab all of the text on a page. I believe the plugin is called Text Sniper, so I can, instead of having to copy and paste this, I have it assigned to a shortcut, Command E, and this will just copy everything, and I can then just go ahead and paste it, and it will paste all 24 rows quite easily. So yeah, just another little part of the workflow, but yeah, we did all of them pretty much. Yeah, it just makes it really interesting for pulling data off of pages. Yeah, yeah, that's the other thing, Andrew, is that, like when not only does it keep you motivated, it keeps me motivated as well. Like it's quite limited in terms, like for example, just doing this live stream, you've mentioned um, both like the sleeping mattress and Banner Bear, which are both tools that I can like check out. So it's like a I don't know, yeah, it's interesting. It's like having a little like sort of club going on, right, with people with similar interests. I'm happy to like live stream all the time. Um, and just always have like some conversation going on. And it's also like motivating for me that other people are there. And it means that I can't get distracted because I'm like live streaming. So I have to make sure that I keep working. I can't guarantee that it's always interesting work that I'll be doing. Um, but I'll obviously like do my best. But like also I'm launching a few new businesses like at the moment as well, and I was also thinking because I set up like a new Stripe account which is at like $0, it would be quite interesting to do a sort of series of going from I don't know like zero to $1 million in processing, or like making $1 million, and just recording and documenting the whole thing, so I could do like streams every day of what I'm working on to make money. um, yeah. But I'm happy to live stream more, and it's like um, I've invested quite a bit in like this home setup. Like hopefully you've seen the camera is now, it should be much better anyway. I hope hope you've noticed the difference. Um, as well as like the audio should be a little bit better, but I'm still working on like renovating out the home office slash studio, let's call it. Um, Yeah, yeah, it's also quite interesting. Like if people are working on, I don't know, working on things on, and they have like a live chat where they can talk and discuss things. Maybe it's quite interesting. So like a YouTube um, community, I would definitely do. Like absolutely not an issue for me. But in terms of managing like a Discord or like a Slack channel is just something that's going to take up a time for me because it needs like moderation and so on. Um, and the other problem I generally find with communities is I wouldn't even do it for profit, but I generally find paid communities are much higher quality. I don't know exactly why. I think maybe it's just because of like the barrier for entry rather than letting like anyone in. If you just have like even like a low barrier for entry, it means that the people there are making some commitment that they're really interested in the community. So, and then to set up like another paid service and then you to worry about customers, it's just not really for me. Is what I'm saying. It's not like the right time for me to do something like that. In fact, I'm going to clone that get a file to come down here. There's quite a few of the services are going to need that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and like so the 0 to 1 million idea I think is really quite good because I guess now is like quite a good time for me to do it, right? I sold my main business, which was like my main source of income. So I am almost like starting from scratch, and I'm mostly focused on passive income streams, as passive as can be. Some of them are 100% passive, and some of them we're talking 3 4 hours per week. Um, but they need the initial setup, right? So it will be like a month worth of work, and then after that, it moves into like a sort of maintenance mode. So they're the type of projects that I'm mostly working on now, and I'm happy to document them. It's no problem at all. I've just hired one new girl who started working. She actually works behind me, and we've been setting up. There's hopefully you can see this. There's just like a load of Android devices here where we've been setting up Tinder profiles, fake Tinder profiles for promoting girls on OnlyFans. So I'm happy to document it. You'll see me quite stressed with the various different I don't know issues that we encounter, but for me it's all part of the fun of growing a startup. So yeah, no, I'm happy to document and live stream it. I think it might be uh, it will literally be a live stream of me talking with them as well, trying to manage them and teach them how to what they need to do, how to grow accounts and so on. So it will be like unfiltered content, let's call it, right? It will literally be a live stream directly from the office of a startup, which I'm happy to do. And then of course there are other projects that I'm working on as well, that I can record and document as well. Um, it's interesting. And then what else can we add in? Instagram, I personally don't use, but you can do like create a photo post, so you could actually have that as a you could very easily automate posting to Instagram. Um, Facebook as well. I think Facebook is connected. Again, I'm also banned from Facebook. But yeah, sorry. Someone else mentioned earlier that they were using Puppeteer for automated posting. Um, and yeah, I was just interested why you would use Puppeteer for Facebook when they have like Integromat has like pre-built. You can post in groups. You can also post to a page. So yeah, if you're still watching, I'd still be interested to know. For example, we could do post to a Facebook group. I haven't got I haven't got a Facebook account. I think I'll just give this away as like a template after in case anyone wants to use it. So I'll just add them in anyway. But yeah, personally, I won't be using them. Um, Luca, hey, how are you? Okay, so then let's look into like doing some categories. These are just going to be template categories for me. Let's do news, let's do funny, let's do technology. Like I'll change these around later. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this for OnlyFans girls, but I don't want a load of tits popping up the whole time during the live stream. um, okay, let's link these together. So basically, what this will mean is you can very easily select categories from a central database, and it will automatically only promote in relevant places to whatever category your content is. So if I'm making like YouTube content on productivity, then also content on Integromat, then also content on Apple Shortcuts, the places where I want to promote this is going to be quite varied. So this is going to help solve that problem. News. Just make a new category as well called entertainment. So as also for anyone that doesn't use Airtable like this, like some of the best uh, best flexibility comes from using like relational databases. So having different bases talking with each other. Really, really good. Same again in Notion as well. Such a fantastic way to utilize these tools. And like the deeper you get into it, the more powerful they become. And you can also build like analytics systems on top of this. Really, really flexible. So flexible. I can't be bothered to categorize all these now when I'm just going to delete it later. So we'll just give them some random categories. It doesn't really matter. Your logic will all be the same. Another thing that you could do is add in like the size of each of the different groups if you wanted to. Sorry. Yeah. Um, yeah, you could add in the size of the subreddits and then filter down like that. But it's completely up to you. Like you will also actually be banned from some subreddits because of you have like not high enough karma, particularly if it's a new account. So you could leave a note of what the response is from the API just so that you know for future accounts to filter out that specific subreddit. And generally what my plan is to do, there's just so much there's so many groups for adult content. Like you can just do a quick search now. I don't want to show it on YouTube, but there are thousands of different categories. Literally, you can scrape all of them, categorize them into the various different whatever niche it's related to. As I said, I'm doing adult content, and then whenever I have a piece of content that is linked to that specific category, let's say it's like a girl with like nice boobs, for example, I can then categorize all subreddits for girls that are related to boobs, and it will go and promote it in like 300 subreddits, like automatically, which is just it's so interesting. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. Subreddits, and we need to do a lookup. So, and then what I said about getting the size of the subreddits, for example, we could actually apply a filter like we only want to post in subreddits that are bigger or smaller than whatever amount. Anyway, I'm not going to use that in this case. So we now have all like the subreddits linked. So all we need to do is on a specific piece of content, it's now going to be accessible to us which subreddits we want to post into. Um, funny, no, that's fine. Let's link to. There we go. There. Now all of the subreddits are listed, so I can easily go and promote in everything that's listed here. And like I said, we can easily attach hundreds of subreddits to just mass promote, like sending out a new post every 10 minutes is like a good limit for Reddit. So all day we will be promoting ourselves on Reddit just with one post. By the way, we can promote one post in 300 different subreddits, and then we'll do that for each piece of content. Um, I have created Airtable interfaces, and I actually use them for managing some of the websites that I said that I was generating, these passive income websites. So it will give me like a high level overview of how many pages I've created that day, how many domains I have left to scrape, and just generally what needs to be done. And when I have 3 or 4 different websites like this, it just gives me a high level overview of each one, which works quite well. I was actually thinking of putting a load of TVs on the back wall there, building I think a TV wall it's called, putting like 9 TVs, and then on each one there would be um, yeah, like a high level overview of each different project that I'm working on, and Airtable interfaces would be one of those. There was also another tool, I think it was Retool. Yeah, it was. Frank actually introduced me to this. And this is something where you can build something like Airtable interfaces, but you can build it on top of, it's like an internal, you can build something like Airtable interfaces, but using loads of different tools. So, like Stripe is an integration. You can use a database. You can use Slack. You can use various different other things. You can build internal dashboards across all of your um, various different cloud apps. Yeah, also very interesting to reply to the to Reddit comments. I could definitely build like a centralized dashboard for it. It's also a good idea. This retool as well. I haven't actually played around with it myself, but I have been meaning to. Um, I'm in the process because some of my websites have grown above 50,000 pages. I'm in the process of moving them um, away from Airtable and actually moving into MongoDB. And in that scenario, I will actually move over to using this as a platform. Anyway, where were we? Yeah. So now it needs to get a little bit interesting, and we need to know. Um, we need to build out some interesting logic here. Do you like my coin? So I'm just just going to build out like some final filters just to make sure the content is actually ready to post. Name is not empty and content is not empty and image URL is not empty. Let's just see if that automation we built earlier is still working. Yeah, Retool. I don't know how you were using it, Andrew, but they have there's a tool that I use actually. Table Plus, I think, is the name. No, maybe it isn't. Let me just find it for you. If you're talking about using like databases and building queries, like I also don't know any SQL, but there's a tool called Table Plus, and I suggest you install this. And hopefully you can see my screenshot now. Sorry, my there's enough detail now, but you can actually build in filters similar to how you would do in Airtable. So it will be contains, does not contain, whatever various different filters you want. And you can actually copy the SQL query or whatever database you're using out of here and paste it into Retool. And it will, so it's just an easier way for you to visually build like database queries that you can use for your like analytics within Retool or any other time that you need queries. Hi, it's yeah, you're exactly right. It's it's for the flexibility in my mind. Like I'm personally just going to use this on Twitter and Reddit because I will be using this for promoting adult content. However, like this will like I could use this system across all of my startups, right? So you can also add in LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, which I've just done for that's just for educational purposes. But the reason that I'm using it is yeah, for the flexibility of being able to just promote posts at scale and yeah, just yeah, it's really just for that, and also you could add like further enhanced like automation. Like Andrew just had an interesting suggestion, which was to build like your own sort of database, sorry, your own like front end management system for like the comments that come in. So that would be like another benefit of it. But the main reason is just for a really flexible way. I'm currently managing a OnlyFans website where I've scraped a ton of OnlyFans profiles. This is just like an example. It would apply in other areas other than the adult industry. So my idea was whenever I scraped a new profile, I would post it out on Twitter. So I will be building like a sort of centralized hub of OnlyFans profiles on Twitter because I've got hundreds of thousands of them already. And I will actually, and I'm managing OnlyFans girls as well. So I will promote my girls, like pin my girls, for example, on the Twitter page. So that was just like what I was looking at doing it for. And yeah, it's for flexibility, and also I just think it's like cheaper. I much prefer to use a system like this. Um, so, but yeah, it's also I guess it's slightly for education as well. Like it was something a little bit interesting to build. So I've not done something like this in a while. So but also like on Reddit, you really need, like, you need to filter out all of the different subreddit categories, and in order to be able to do like effective promotion. So that is where the flexibility comes in with this system. On like the other platforms, it is not needed so much, but you may as well just have one central hub for all of your content. So we can do submit a Reddit post. When it is posted, we then want to add into content, Airtable, update a record. I've got way too many Airtable databases. I keep getting lost. There we go, content pipeline. Um, so, and the way that we're going to make sure that we don't keep posting in the same subreddit is once we have posted there, we will add posted to, and it's just going to be a text field actually. Update a record. Yeah. I mean, I think I did make a video on this before. Like, it sounds quite weird, right? To think that technically you are working as a pimp, but like for me, like okay, it's not like a pimp as in what you would see in the movies with like a guy beating up the girls, right? It's completely different. These girls want to do it, just they have no idea about marketing. So generally, they will actually attempt this themselves. They will try to promote themselves, but then, they're essentially the product, right? Just they haven't got any idea about marketing. And if I can build out systems like this for them, and the other thing you can do, oh, this is a very good tip for you, is OnlyFans follow unfollow. You can actually follow accounts on OnlyFans, so you could target guys. It um it just makes like a really interesting, like OnlyFans paid out $3 billion last year. It's a huge industry. It's very easy to make money in as well. So you can build out really interesting systems like this. There's so many places that you can promote adult content online. Um, so yeah, it's, in my opinion, it's a really interesting opportunity. It's not hard to find girls at all. It's really easy to find the models actually. The hardest part is the promotion. So I'm trying to have this as like a passive income stream for promoting these girls. So they will just get automated messages basically every month asking for content, and it will then automatically be promoted online, and you can schedule all of your OnlyFans content for like months in advance. So it's a really interesting opportunity. And for anyone who doesn't have a business, as a first business, this is really not a bad option. For a subscription business, it's really quite good. Um, anyway, split content. How do we want to do this? Um, just trying to see where our old Integromat went, where we were doing Imager. I've lost it now. Was this it? I hope it was. That is it. Great. Yeah, no, you're completely right. It is marketing for content creators, and all of these girls, they have a friend or they know someone who's making, you know, 30,000, 50,000, $100,000 per month, and they think that they can do it themselves as well. And it's not down to how good looking they are at all. It's the other, uh, not I don't know, not to sound too. It's just the reality of what I've seen. It's not down to how good looking the girl is. In fact, I have an absolutely stunning um, girl, like really, really good looking, and she doesn't make as much money as not like she's not ugly, but as a second girl who's working for me, and I think it's something down to do with like how the if people believe that the girl is like within their league or something like that. I'm still trying to like figure out the exact like psychology behind it, but it's a really interesting space, and I think it is only because like the guys believe that they have a chance with the girl who isn't like unbelievably good looking. So it's not about how like good looking the girl is in terms of how much money they make. It really isn't. It's a lot of it is to do with like the promotion. And the other thing that you're offering these girls is anonymity. You can like at least up to a certain degree. Like I'm not going to make them go like viral. So there's like a much lower chance of anyone that they know discovering them. Rather than if they have to promote it on their own Instagram or TikTok or whatever the case may be. Um, and why this should upload? Um, and yeah, you're completely right. I do need to organize my Integromat. Um, Interesting enough that you mentioned Jarvie. Do you know if it's still working? I used to be like a massive mass planner user, and ironically, I also started out the way I learned marketing was um, was also through Black Hat World. So yeah, interesting that you mentioned that. Just literally just reading through there, learning how to promote my first business. But I was, and also if people are interested in this as well, like I was looking at a way to. One thing I'm working on now is setting up a load of Tinder accounts. Really, really easy way to bring in um, to bring in these type of customers. Obviously, I get about 1 to 2 subscribers per day, even without swiping, which is like the only problem is the Tinder account's getting banned, and I'm one thing I'm trying to work on now is, and maybe people even have some input on this, is like geolocation um, spoofing. So you can pay for Tinder Premium; it's about $10 per month. So it's workable, but I would prefer to try and save it because I'm trying to set up literally hundreds of Tinder accounts. About 10 accounts per girl, and I want to cover each of the major cities. So there'll be one in London, one in uh, in New York, in Los Angeles, in various other cities throughout the US. I could also target like Singapore, anywhere that has like an audience that is active on OnlyFans. Like I will be looking to set up a Tinder account for each girl. Um, so yeah, and so if anyone has experience with that, like I was running into some issues. Like I've been using Android devices because it's like the easiest way to change the GPS location. It's not done via VPN. They're actually tracking GPS coordinates. And it would work sometimes, but other times I was finding with the applications I was using, it was just leaking the GPS coordinates in the end. So it's an issue that I'm still trying to figure out. But if you're able to, like I said, I get about 2 sales per day without even using um, without even using the Tinder profile. If you're active on Tinder, it was anywhere from like 4 to 5. Um, and you can make about $100 per subscriber. The interesting thing about OnlyFans is the subscription fee is just the beginning. Most of the people that I know and the girls that I'll manage, um, they let's say they have like 2,000 or $2,500 in monthly subscriptions. They'll make about 10K per month. They're making 75% of their money off of messages, custom videos, upsells essentially. Um, yeah, Java. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was working either, but I was looking for something similar to that, something like Mass Planner slash Java. Just to be able to automate Twitter accounts at scale because such a huge amount of the adult audience is on Twitter. Howard, so I'm just looking at now. Yeah, yeah, also interesting. I'll play around with it. There's loads of interesting tools popping up at the moment. To be honest, it's a bit like within the automation world. I think it's a great time, really good time. Howard, so yeah, it's very interesting, and definitely do it from desktop using proxies. I'm in the process. I'm literally setting up multi-login before I started the stream. Like I'm updating multi-login, and I was going to try that as a platform for setting up the Tinder accounts. 1 second, my doors. But there's loads of like spam accounts on Tinder, so it's definitely possible. I know that for a fact. It's just figuring out how to do it, and I'm pretty sure they're also using sort of like suicide accounts, um, which like so they don't really care if they get banned or not. Whereas I'm trying to think much more like long term. Like I want the accounts to last a while. Um, Okay, we're finally getting somewhere. I'm just sorry, I'm talking. This would have taken much longer if much quicker. If I was actually getting on with it. Uh, Mobile proxies isn't the they use GPS. They're not using your location. So otherwise, you could use like VPN or whatever. They use your actual GPS coordinates of your device, which is why you have to turn on location tracking. So that is what you're trying to change. Multi login has the ability to change that, so I'll play around with it. Um, then do you scale service price based on OnlyFans popularity? Um, so the way that I would do pricing on OnlyFans is I have the subscriptions really, really low because that is you're sort of just getting someone in the door with the subscription. They've entered their credit card details, and you know that they are happy to spend some money to look at girls naked online, right? It's really what it is. They're happy to engage in premium adult content because there's a complete I didn't know. Like now, I try not to consume any adult content for like personal use, right? Whereas I'm around it all day, like promoting pictures of naked girls. But I never would engage like previously in any premium like paid adult content. So there's two types of customer in this when you're promoting adult content. There's people who are willing to pay for it, and there's people who it would just never like cross their mind. Like I didn't like. There's so much free content out there, so most people are happy to just consume free adult content. But then you have the other percentage who will go crazy, and they on consuming adult content, whether it's through live cam girls like on chat. Like I know some people who run like webcam studios. They have some very interesting stories. Or if it's through like OnlyFans, is now like the new and emerging thing, right? It's like, or essentially a digital strip club, like if we want to look at it like that. So, like this gone slightly off topic, but to answer the question, the money isn't made on the subscription. It's I would price them as low as possible, which the lowest price is $5, and you can also offer discounts on top of that. And the only thing that you're doing is it means they've set up an OnlyFans account and they've attached their credit cards, which means they can buy upsells with just like one click. And so it makes very high conversion rates. So you're charging $5 for them to basically get their foot in the door. And the content that you put out for the OnlyFans girls, you can put out some topless pictures or anything like that, but it will generally be like more teaser stuff. Like I will do a few topless things so they feel they've got like value for money. But it's a teaser, right? The next thing is you want the upsell. You want them to pay $25, $50 for a video, for like a 1 minute video. You can also do personalized videos. So I will get personal requests and I'll tell the just send a message to the girl saying, can you record this, and this? It will usually be they want them to like say their name whilst I'm sure you can imagine the type of activity I'm talking about. But there's loads of ways to upsell, and the subscriptions. If about pricing, I always keep it as low as possible. You want as many people through the door as possible, and then the real place where you're optimizing is on your upsell strategy. That's where the money's made. Um, Split. Where's the split function gone? I only work on a percentage. And I don't have any girls making 100K as of yet. Um, I'm sort of I think it I mean it's definitely possible to get there. I've got some guys that I know, 18 and 19 years old, and they run an OnlyFans agency. They bought a brand new Lamborghini a few months ago and sent a video of it. And just the other week, they then bought a brand new Aston Martin as well. 18 and 19 years old. They're all they're doing is managing these OnlyFans girls. Um, so they have girls who are pulling in like that kind of money. I personally don't. I'm getting girls up to about like 10K per month, which is like quite easy to do, and yeah, I take a percentage. I would only work on a percentage. Your only real risk is that they like reach out to OnlyFans directly. But then again, as long as you keep growing the account, they've got no reason to cut you out of the deal. And I would go in for as much as 50%. You're the one who's bringing the customers. Like they can 100% do it on their own, but they'll make about a tenth of what you bring in for them, maybe even less if you actually put in a good marketing strategy for them. Um, Listed in text. Okay, that's also done. To be honest, this automation is pretty much built. I can add in a little bit with hashtags, which I think I will do, but other than that, it will it will automatically upload the posts to Imager, and this is giving you a let's call like basically a place to manage your content. So it's just giving you a very simple dashboard. Here you've got the content. You write the name, which is going to be like the title. Then you write a longer form description. You assign a category. We can add some hashtags. It automatically gets uploaded to Imager, which handles Reddit, which is the main place I want to promote. And whenever we assign it with a category, we can also give it multiple categories, by the way. It will pull in all of the related subreddits that we have, where it will automatically go and promote. So what this will do is this will return the first subreddit in the list, and we will automatically go and post in that subreddit. Sorry, that will go here. Title is going to be name, image post, and then the URL is going to be Imager URL. And then once it posts, it will add in into posted in, and then we can just have a simple filter saying posted in. In fact, we want it up here. Posted in does not contain text. And in fact, we may need to iterate through those results, and it will ensure that we're not posting in the same subreddits multiple times. And then the only other thing I would do is perhaps like sleep 300, which is 5 minutes. It's the maximum allowed on Integromat, and then we can sleep for 10 minutes before it goes to post in the next subreddit. LinkedIn, create an image post. Instagram for business. Facebook, personally, I'm not going to use them, but you can have them as part of your flow. But yeah, essentially anything that you add into this database, you just need to give it, upload the content, or you could source the content automatically. I will research Bannerbear a little bit more as well. Add in a description, give it some categories, and it will post it everywhere. Hashtags. Okay, I'll add some hashtags quickly. Yeah, Tbilisi, I've lived here for about 3 years. It's good, nice place. It is good. It gets a little bit annoying at times, but in general, I do like it here. So the way we would do this is, I was also actually thinking of making a tool that is similar to like a SEO, um, where they give you like the competition on various different keywords. I was thinking to make like a hashtag research tool that will you will put in a hashtag and it will tell you the competition, how many posts go up on it per hour, and just various different metrics to like help you on growing an Instagram. I thought it would be like a really interesting tool for people. Um, I was thinking that would be a little fun side project to build out. Anyway, just copy these. Morning rock on thread. Uh, And yeah, just to give the general idea, so that would now, like this is a terrible example, they're all like generic hashtags, but this would, you could just go into your like content and easily assign like a hashtag group that you have, and it would automatically post with all of those hashtags on whatever platform you're using. Um, I'm getting quite tired now. I think I will call it a day. It has been a talking to pleasure talking to all of you, and there's been some interesting tips dropped in the chat. Um, if you did, I'm happy to do more live streams as well. As we were talking about, like I'm literally happy to record here all day, um, live streaming like directly from my office, working on various different things. Yeah, other than that, thank you for watching. Take care and have a great evening, gentlemen.